Tesse, bonjour to Nishi, and hello, welcome to the North of the Fourth podcast. We record these episodes from Flin Flon, Manitoba on Treaty 5 territory, the traditional lands of the Cree Nation and the homelands of the Métis people. We acknowledge and respect these Indigenous and Métis people who have lived on and cared for this land for generations, and we're grateful to share stories that continue to grow from here. Welcome to episode 4 of the North of the Fourth podcast. I'm your host, Drayden Lowe, and as always, our goal is to collect and share the voices of artists, vendors, and creators from Northern Manitoba. These are stories that too often go unheard. Stories of resilience, creativity, and passion. From Flin Flon to Thompson, Church to La Pas, we're shining a spotlight on the incredible talent growing right here in our communities. This podcast is for you, whether you're a lover of handmade goods or someone who supports local creators or just curious about what's happening in the North. It's also for the makers themselves, a platform to celebrate their journeys, their challenges, and their dreams. We're excited to announce that we're now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Deezer, and Player FM, with YouTube as our main home for video episodes. And we're just getting started with a handful of episodes so far, but we hope to stay on these platforms for a long time to come. And today, I am joined by Kristy Janvier. Hello.
Hello.
And you're here with us to talk about Boreal Gatherings and art in the wild, is that correct?
Yes, I wear many hats in the community, but I wanted to focus today on that project that I'm a part of.
Well, why don't you introduce us about yourself and those?
Oh, sure. So my name is Kristy Janvier. I am born and raised here in Flin Flon. I'm an urban member of English River First Nation, which is northern Saskatchewan in Patchonak, and my mother's side is a English, Irish, Ukrainian mix. And so, yeah, I'm born and raised here, and then I took a journey, a left turn, and ended up in the entertainment industry, and I worked overseas up until 2016. And I came back to Flin Flon and wasn't quite sure what I was going to be doing, but I came across a good friend, Katie Kozak. And so from 2017 onwards, we've been doing a lot of collaborations under the umbrella of Boreal Gatherings.
Okay, so tell us more about Boreal Gatherings.
Yeah, sure. So it started off, both me and Katie have artistic practices. We both have yoga and meditation experience, and we facilitate those classes. And so the first thing that we started was in 2018. We did something out at Camp Whitney called Soul Sister Summer Camp. And so this was a summer camp for women from, I think it was from age 20 to 65. And so that focused on plant medicine, ceremony, meditation, and movement. And we were able to do it again the following year, really successful. We bring in a herbalist, and just a really great time out at Camp Whitney. And of course, we were going to do it again, and we had the pandemic. So in 2020, we kind of shifted things. We helped downstairs. We had a collaborative yoga studio space, movement space. It's now Greenstone, but it was entirely a donation drop-in. And it was a collaborative among many facilitators in our community, so we had started that. And then we also had this idea for something called Art in the Wild. And
what is Art in the Wild?
So Art in the Wild, I was inspired. I think I was on a flight, and there was a, on the airplane they have those little magazines.
Yeah.
So there was an article there about something called Theater in the Bush in Yukon. And they were doing these outdoor performances in the evening under lights, and it looked so magical and wonderful. And I think at the same time, Caitlin Bailey had seen it. And so me and Katie came together with the idea of presenting Art in the Wild. Caitlin Bailey from the city of Flin Flon worked with us to secure the rotary wheel and all the campground sites in the back loop. And we had, I don't even know how many performers that year. I say 10. Usually we do about 10 local groups. And so it was all volunteer. With the ticket sales, I think we paid people maybe like $60 for their work, but they had all summer to create original work, whether it was plays, visual work, like paintings, an experience, sculpture, music. And it was really successful that year. And we did take a break because Katie goes back and forth from here to Vancouver. She was in art school there. And so in 2023, we applied for funding, and we got a grant from Manitoba Arts Council. And so we could pay our artists. And so it was really successful that year.
That's good.
Yeah, so in 2023, we had 10 artists. We had one come in from Vancouver.
Oh, yeah.
He's worked here before. And when we are able to pay our artists, they can feel some value in the work they're producing, because a lot of times they're producing first-time original work. So they take the whole summer to do that. And then as well, part of the goal is that we are getting those because with the grant world, you need to have all this experience in order to get into those portals to apply for those grants. So when they're doing things like applying for Art in the Wild, they're getting those experiences that they can put on their resume that hopefully they can start funding their own projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that takes time to set up, hey?
Yeah, there's a lot of admin background for writing the grants. And so right now, Art in the Wild, Boreal Gatherings is still like a non-organizational thing yet. So like we have to look in if we want to become a nonprofit. We always think like, no more, that was good, but no more. And then we do Art in the Wild and then it's successful. And so then we're like, we have to keep going. So it is a lot of work, but it is so worth it. So in 2024, when we did it again, we had funding not only from Manitoba Arts Council, but we had Canada Council money. And so we were able to bring in 3 artists outside of our community. So we had 2 artists from the PAW.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a band from L'Orange. And so we're not only able to pay for their fee, but we can give them mileage, accommodation, per diem, and just make them feel really welcome in our community here, and just creating more opportunities for us to see them and for them to perform outside and share their work with others.
Well, that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. You said that you had something in like a display in the old Dembo's building.
Oh yes. So me and Katie, also with another project that we have done, I got to sidetrack a little bit get to the windows. So because our work with Art in the Wild is a lot about site-specific, taking your work outdoors in like unusual locations. Mm-hmm. Trying to think of all the timelines. So we had money in spring 2024 to facilitate 6 weeks of free artistic workshops. And so we did that over at the Ukrainian church on Church Street. Mm-hmm. And we had 6 weekends, original workshops, sculpture, movement, poetry, all kinds of different themes. And then as well, 2 days a week, we had open studio time, so people could bring a project that they were working on, and they just had
a space to work with it.
Yeah, and then they could also everyone kind of had their own tables, because it was mostly the same people that were coming, but they all had their own table and station, so they could leave their things there and come back to it. And so we had the funds to facilitate those workshops again this year, but because our arts community had Annie this year, we knew a lot of them were going to be really busy this spring. We took our artist workshops on the road. So we went to Snow Lake for Friday and Saturday and presented something there. We went to the Paw for another weekend, and then out here we went to Denier Beach at the Ridge.
Okay.
And so our workshops were really good, because a lot of times we're trying to ask people to come here to Flin Flon, but we thought maybe we'll go there to share the work and stuff.
Like bring it to the people who can't come here.
Yeah, because we would have people from these communities sign up to come in 2024, but things would come up at last minute, or it's maybe a 2-hour drive and you can't always come. So we took those workshops on the road, but then we still have this money left over. And so when we're driving back from the Paw, Katie was thinking about our Main Street, the Dembo window, and it was just so sad, those mannequins laying there.
The building was empty.
Yeah, and so she had this idea that we should do a window display with the money that we had left over. And it was like, oh yeah, great, what could we use? And then we remembered that giant heart. It's called This Is My Heart, and it's made by 3 teacher musicians in our community, but they had attended our workshops that the previous spring. Mm-hmm. And they made this beautiful visual arts piece, and it was displayed at Art in the Wild. It was at the Juried Art Show where it won an award. And so hopefully people that are listening are going to check it out on Main Street. And so in that center window, you're going to see their giant crocheted heart. Yep. There's a write-up on the wall. And they had a lot of us mothers come and learn how to crochet those little granny squares. Yep. And so it's a collaborative community project.
A big effort project from everyone.
Yeah, and so we were able to hire them to display their heart. And then for the side windows, me and Katie were going to be working with birch bark. So normally I don't work with birch bark. That's my sister's work. But we were thinking of that heart, and what frames the heart is your lungs. And we get our oxygen from the trees, and our piece is called lenticel. And lenticel are these like little slits on the birch trees. Yep. And it's for the oxygen exchange. And yeah, so it was interesting process because all of this was happening in May before, things went down.
Big went down. Before I became homeless.
Yes, exactly. So it was interesting because, like I said, me and Katie both have, besides our artistic practice, our yoga meditation. And we were thinking of that heart-lung space as a space of grief. Yeah. And so there was a bit of grief, and so we wanted our trees to be holding the heart on the side. And if you look closely, you can see that I was stitching the birch trees because I have a sewing practice, hand sewing with beadwork. And Katie had made these other thin paper birch trees, and she wanted some color on the background. And so we were scrambling to get these bubbly boxes. So you can see that color on backsplash on both the sunrise and the sunset. Shades, and we really thank the recycling center and a lot of various friends in the community for helping us. And when you put the call out to our community, people will respond.
People answer fast.
Yeah, so we made those bubbly backgrounds, and that Tuesday before we got evacuated, we were in there installing and starting the process, and we're like, we're not packing, we're not going to get evacuated. That's so silly. It can't be that bad. And, the next morning, Wednesday, I was still sewing my birch trees. And then I was people were messaging me, pack your things, be ready.
I think we're going to go.
And so, everything got put on pause. So coming back and finishing the install just has so much, just so much more meaning. And, sometimes when I'm standing out there fixing things and I chat with people on the street, because there has been that feeling of loss and that grief, and that coming back to something beautiful. You can also see in the windows, Carrie Lentowitz has this.
We had her on episode 2. She does birch bark biting.
Yeah, she is just so crazy because that weekend before we were at the Ridge, and her work was there, and we're like, should we just buy her work here to display? And we didn't. We should have, but this time she made this beautiful 3D framed birch bark piece. Mm-hmm. So you can see that in one of the windows. And then on the other window, we have my sister, Kelly June, also Muddy Butterfly Designs, and she beads directly onto birch bark. Yeah. And so we have one of her pieces. So not only are we with that project able to employ or make something beautiful on Main Street, because we thought that film crew was coming. We were able to employ various local artist groups to display, and just a huge thank you to Tim Smith for agreeing to allowing us to utilize his building. And
it wasn't going to get used anyway. The window was just open. It was sad, very, very sad to see that building being left. So you're going to change it up every year? The window?
I don't know. Part of me was it was actually kind of fun to do that window, and I'm maybe we should do seasonal.
That's how I was
windows.
Thinking. Every 3 months it should be season themed.
Yeah, it would be really cool idea if we could kind of continue it. Looking at that building, that building has so much history too on our Main Street, and
it's been there for quite a while.
Yeah, and you can see, my mom sent me an original picture, and then you can see now where they had added that extra window. Yeah. And when we're looking at the ceiling, you can tell where the original tiles are, and then they change. Yeah. But it's just such an iconic building, and so I'm just hoping that when people are walking down Main Street this summer, they'll stop and ponder and look at it. And I rarely go out late at night, but there should be, some twinkling lights within the heart and trees. So maybe one night I'll stay up till 10:30.
I'm going to have to go get a picture today. Today now, and then today in the evening I'll go get one, because that'll look good on here.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't actually taken a good look at I've looked by it as I've driven, but I haven't stood there and looked at everything. So I haven't taken it in yet, but I really should.
Yeah, for sure. And when you look at the patterns of our bubbly boxes, and at first somebody didn't notice the bear claw hanging, and so yeah, there's like a lot to take in.
It's just like a big 3-dimensional painting, I guess you could say. There's just so much there.
Yes, and that was one of the workshops Katie did. What I thought she was going to present as sculpture, I was just assuming we're working with clay sculpture, but she really challenged our idea of what sculpture could be, carving space and utilizing, and so it's just really something nice for us to have on our main street.
It's actually like brings like a lot of life into it, because Main Street has a lot of history to it, but getting to see the artwork showcased on it just is amazing. Like the big mural on the side of our building here, that's every day when I go by, I get to see that. I was like, oh yeah, I love Coca-Cola too.
Yeah.
Any other upcoming like art projects or whatnot that you'd like to talk to here?
Yeah, so we are going to do Art in the Wild again this year. It's going to look different, though. So the past 3 times we did it, it was at the Rotary Wheel into the Flin Flon Campground.
Yep.
This year, our granting came through Sask Arts with the partnership of Creighton Rec. So shout out to Lindsay over there.
I used to work for Lindsay for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
I still do. I still do a party in the parks at the spray pool there.
Yes.
Those are fun.
Yes, she does so much for our community, and so it's not going to be that wild wilderness experience, but we're calling it urban art in the wild, so it'll be kind of more on the Creighton Main Street area, and we already have about half of our applications, and so we are still looking for more artists, and we want to just invite other people. One idea was like, what about a tattoo artist?
That would be different.
Whether they were doing a live tattooing or showing their work in that way, or, how could you, instead of just standing there reading poetry, like how could you project it onto one of the buildings?
Yeah.
Taking your paintings and things in a different space, so it's not just like a gallery wall, but how can you hide your art in unusual spots?
Yeah.
And for a surprise. And so normally it's a ticketed event, but this year is going to be free. And we're going to wrap up some more of the details. That's going to be happening end of September, so September 27th. Usually we do it a little bit earlier, but just with the timing this year.
We had that whole month of a setback.
Yeah, like some people wanted to apply, but they just didn't have that creation period, because normally we have like 3 months to make your project, and this time we're getting pretty close, 6 weeks now in, so it's a little bit tight, but we still hope that more people apply. And again, we do have that funding to bring other people from other communities. We have an application from the PAW. I think we have somebody from Churchill, so I'm really
big up north, and I thought we were north, but then there's Churchill.
Yes. So I'm hoping that we can get one more guest artist, which would be really great. And then
So that's all you got for our projects this year. Nothing else secret plan that you want to tell us about?
I don't know. I think that's it for now. Like, I did apply for a grant, and it didn't go through, and I'm kind of glad, because sometimes you make these projects and then you get the money and then you're like, oh my gosh, now I have to do it.
Now I have to do something.
So I'm kind of glad that other project got put on hold, because looking at Snow Lake now, they're not ready to hold that capacity for that project. So it's kind of a bit of a blessing in disguise. But I wanted to think about things outside of Flin Flon, working with other northern communities, kind of like the Imagine Northern project idea. I was a part of that for about 1.5 years, and so kind of building what they are starting.
Well, that's something. Mm-hmm. I do wish we could have that at Snow Lake. It's a great place. Like, not a lot happens in Snow Lake, but it's great scenery there. Especially, I know I did a wedding. I did a wedding on the beach one time.
Oh, okay.
And it was just perfect out there.
Yeah.
Snow Lake is like just a tiny Flin Flon.
Yes, and so much potential for them, and just to find those creative outlets. We presented a evening workshop there in Cole's Cafe, or coffee house, and the people that did it, they had no idea, and they were having so much fun that, like, it was like 10 o'clock, and we were like, we're kind of done our work, and then they busted out all these canvases and paint on their own. And then they just kept going.
And it just didn't end.
We're like, I'm going to bed. But it was just something cool like that, just to find other outlets and possibilities for artistic, creative endeavors. Like whether you're doing it for sharing or just for your personal enjoyment.
Well, that's pretty good. So that's all you got for us today?
Yeah, I think so. Me and Katie, we'll keep going, with a lot of our work and ideas. She comes back and forth from Vancouver, and so we'll kind of see for next year what's going to happen. But I'll probably come back again and talk about maybe some of my other work with beading and such like that.
Yeah, please do. Okay, so I'm just going to run over some community events that are happening. Do you want to let us know some important dates that you have for our stuff?
Just to get your art in the wild proposals in as soon as you can. There's a call on Facebook with a link to the Google form. It's on our website, so borealgatherings.com. You can find the link.
That should be, if you point down, that should be like right under, right there, I think.
Wait.
Close enough.
So you can look on any of our websites there to find the Google. Or if you catch me, you can always ask me about it. And I was recruiting people at the Cranberry Market, so hopefully we'll get a few more applications just to really round out the evening.
Well, there you go. Blueberry Jam is this weekend. It runs from Friday, August 8th to Sunday, August 11th. We're still looking for more volunteers. Please visit the Blueberry Jam website for more information. Culture Days. This event takes place September 19th to October 12th. We need volunteers and committee members. For more details, contact the Flin Flon Arts Council. Thanks again to the Manitoba Métis Federations for sponsoring this project and helping highlight voices from the North. If you enjoy this episode, make sure to follow, share it with a friend, and stay connected. And if you're a maker with a story to share, reach out. This podcast is for you. Thank you for listening to North of the Fourth podcast. We'll see you next time with another story from the North. Bye-bye.